Hello, everybody. This is Jack Frew with SharePoint Saturday Chicago Suburbs. We're holding our event on June 1st, and I hope to see you there. I'm interviewing today Asif Rehmani. Hi, Asif. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Jack. How about yourself?
Doing great. Thanks for asking. Asif, you're going to be doing a session for us on June 1st called No Code Options in 2013. Is that the right title?
That is the right title.
Awesome. What can you tell us about that session?
Well, the main target audience that this tries to capture is the power user audience, right? So you're not the end user who's just using SharePoint, and you're not the person who's actually developing or supporting SharePoint on the server room. But you're this guy, the SharePoint guy or the SharePoint girl who's extremely focused on making solutions using all the tools that you have at your disposal, but not the code-driven tools. So you can use a browser, you can use other stuff, but not necessarily Visual Studio. You want to stay away from Visual Studio. So that's been a passion of mine for a very long time now, Jack. And I try to capture the audience to have them understand exactly the tools, the options they have at hand to be able to build on top of SharePoint. In that session, we'll be talking about things like SharePoint Design or Access, InfoPath, maybe some of the dashboard designer kind of tools as well, and really draw the focus on those tools and what you can accomplish, what your boundaries are as well, because of course there are boundaries. You can't do everything the developer can do. But if you look at that market and that target audience, the power user, that's a huge audience. And many times they really go uncatered to, unfortunately. They need to understand exactly the power they have at hand before going to a developer to get their solutions developed. So that's going to be my hope. To have them understand specifically to SharePoint 2013 what solutions and what options they have.
Awesome. That sounds great. I've actually seen you speak a few times, so for those of you watching this who have never heard of Asif before, I got to tell you, Asif has got to be one of the best speakers, easily in the top 3 of any I've ever seen, and might even be #1, to be honest with you. Every time you watch one of his sessions, you walk away feeling so energized because his focus on these no-code solutions is so dead on. I mean, it's just what business people need, right? You just need something that you can do in quickly and get out, well before anybody doing any code would have ever even gotten through the planning stage, and you're already done. I mean, Asif, you've just done a great job on that stuff. Also, Asif, for those who who don't know you, you've got a huge background in this kind of stuff. I mean, you've written some books on SharePoint Designer, and you've been doing no-code solutions for a long time. Is that correct?
It is correct. It's a passion of mine, literally. I mean, it's not really work. For about the last decade and 2 years, altogether 12 years, I've been really focusing on this audience and on SharePoint specifically as well. So we have a site, for example, SharePoint-videos.com, which caters specifically to that audience as well, providing lots of video content, lots of other support to that audience. And I feel, not to be sentimental here, but it really comes from the heart, and I really love speaking to that audience, and that what really energizes me to do that. Appreciate your feedback, saying the good things about my sessions. I don't think of myself as a very traditionally awesome kind of speaker, to be honest, but I do feel that when I'm there speaking to the audience, I like to relate as to, I've been there. And I want them to understand that, you guys are not alone. These are the options you have, and these are the boundaries, once again, that you have. You need to be accustomed to all the different things that you can and cannot do, and understand the reasoning behind what you can and cannot do, and the focus of what you should have. So, in any case, thanks for the feedback on the presentation. But SharePointVideos.com is where really that passion hopefully shines, and people can see the content that we have and hopefully learn from it.
That sounds great. I've actually been on that site before, and it's a great site, and I've actually watched it evolve over the years, and it seems like it just keeps getting better and better. Not only in terms of the new video content, I know you've got a bunch of 2013 stuff up there already, but also just in the mechanics of the site and being able to kind of choose which videos you want and what have you. I mean, I think one thing that's kind of neat for people is that it's not a site that just has some long drawn out 6-hour program that you've got to sit through. I mean, there are individual little videos for every little kind of micro thing you could want to do. So it is kind of the site that you could get into, learn one specific thing, go apply it right away to your job, and get back to work, which I think is so important in the way that we do things these days. So great job on that site. And we were talking earlier, that site really is that's the essence of who you are. That's in lieu of a blog or what have you, that's really kind of where people should go to kind of see what you've been up to and what kind of things you've been working on, right?
Exactly. That's the best place. That's the best place for that.
Awesome. Well, Asif, I really appreciate your time tonight. Thanks so much for talking with me, and I look forward to seeing you on June 1st.
Been my pleasure. Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Asif. Have a great night.
You too.